baby, burn. Burn, 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 baby, burn.
You doing?
Hey guys, I share Comanche today, Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video. Glad to have you all here with me today. Sending some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need it out there. Man, I need it out there. I made a mistake of scrolling through social media. Man, everybody has an opinion on everything all the time, huh? It's just waiting to fire you up. Someone, somewhere, right? And continuing in that theme, today, I am going to share my opinion on the top 20 burners inside Raid Shadow Legends. Very controversial subject. You guys can let me know if I snub your favorite HP burn champion. Really quickly before we get into it here, I am not going to be including champions that do not place burns. So there's some actually really good HP burn champions like Theodore, like Dark Kale. They're actually not placing the burns, they're just activating the burns. So they have to actually place the HP burn to be added to this list. Also, I'm obviously going to orient this list towards the burn and the burn effect, meaning there's all going to be incredible champions like a Venus, for example, or a Rio Bone Spear, right, who will not make the list today. She's a great champion, but it's a burn on an AoE on a 4-turn cooldown. We can do better than that. So these are the best champions with HP burn, with an emphasis on how they use and maybe activate or extend durations or whatever, the synergy around the HP burns. Let's go ahead and jump into it here with champion number 20 on the list. He is an epic, and I didn't just add him just to be cute and have an epic on the list. He really was 20 on my list. I probably had like 35 or so champions written down, and Scank made the cut.
Hello, everybody. My name is
Scank.
I like Scank because he's void affinity, so he's great no matter where you're trying to place your burn. Burn, by the way, is like, I probably should have said this at the top of the video, but it's one of the best damage dealing abilities against bosses. High HP, it does damage based on their HP, and it works against the majority of bosses inside the game. Like back in the day, it was burn for Spider, you know, Spider Hard when that was introduced to the game, and then, or Spider level 21 to 25, stages 21 to 25, but now it feels like half the Doom Tower bosses are more susceptible to burn. It feels like the hard version of Ice Golem is going to be great with the burn. It feels like burn, Hydra is great with burn.
burn, baby, burn.
Anyway, I digress. Burn is just the new poison. The poison of 2019 is now HP burn. He has the Unleash Havoc. That's the burn for 2 turns, filling his turn meter as well. Again, I like that he's void affinity. And then he has Pyromania, where he's actually amping up his damage with the HP burn stacks up to 25%. He also has 100% weaken, actually 75%. I'm so used to it being booked up. 75% weaken if they're under an HP burn, big version. So really nice there too, to weaken the spider or whoever you're using the burn against. Coming in at number 19 on the list is going to be none other than Tyrant Ixlamore. Tyrant Ixlamore is a really cool champion. I mean, he's an old school champion in the game, but he's really good. This body, Infernal and Minions. Bodyguard is what? That's, who's A3 is Bodyguard? Now it's gonna bother me. It's gonna bother me, and I'm gonna interrupt my own video to find it. Is it Lugan? Is it Mark of Silence? Bodyguard. Ooh, it's a similar ability. That's why. Anyway, I stand corrected. Tyrant is unique on the list because he's a really, really good HP-based support champion who also places burns. He's got ally protection and increased defense. So 50% damage mitigation on 3-turn cooldown with the big version of increased defense. Sign me up with the burn on an AoE on a 3-turn cooldown that lasts for 3 turns. So not bad at all. Tyrant is a really robust damage dealer with the burn and support for your team. Pretty cool champion. He also has a 50% heal if the target's under a burn on his A1 ability. Coming in at number 19 on the list is going to be Crypt King Graal, another old school champion. He's fast, 109 base speed. He's got HP in all battles by 33%. Great aura as well. On the A1, well, whatever. Actually, not whatever. 100% chance decrease attack if they're under a burn or a freeze. On the A2, it's an AoE with a burn on a 3-turn cooldown. And then we have Elemental Unity, which is an AoE with a freeze and an HP burn for 3 turns on targets already under HP burns. It cannot be resisted. So basically what this is going to do is you apply the burn, or somebody else applies the burn, and then he's going to go in there and basically make sure that it's always up all the time, right? Because he's going to extend it to 3 turns, and it can't be resisted, right? Really, really cool there. Very unique kind of extension mechanic with the placement mechanic on the A2 ability. Coming in at number 17 on the list, guys, is going to be another old school but a goodie. It's Ignatius, distant cousin of Biggin. What do you guys think? It might not even be that distant. Ignatius? Biggin. Biggin? Ignatius. Oh, yeah. Like, Ignatius is Biggin with, like, a bad skin day or something. I don't know, right?
Yes, I've been burning.
Yeah, burning version of Biggin. Anyway, this defensive burner, he's all right. He's got to provoke, okay, AoE. Another AoE. The bad news is this burns on a 5-turn cooldown when booked. That's no good. The good news is it's an AoE irresistible burn. It cannot be resisted, which is great because some mobs out there, right, have really high resist. We don't have to worry about it. Frostbiter, Iron Twins, whatever. Ignatius has it covered. And I don't know what it is about this name, but I just like the ring of it. Something about it. I don't know what it is.
I don't think it's that important.
Defense base 2, pretty easy to keep alive. Good control with the provoke. That's Ignatius at number 17. Number 16, oof. She's another oldie, but it's because of her numerous buffs over the years that she makes this list. She's very tanky. It's Tila Goreman, the legendary orc, and she's number 16 on the list. On the A1, she's stealing buffs. Awesome. On the A2, she has an AoE burn, 2 turns on 3-turn cooldown, with a continuous heal on all allies. That's great. An AoE on the A3, increasing the duration of burns. Also a leech and a hex. Man. They added a lot to her kit, huh? I love it that she has the leech, the hex, the burn, and the burn extension with the continuous heals. Man, she's doing a lot. She's doing a lot with the steal on the A1. I really think they did a tremendous job on Tila Goreman. Coming in number 15 on the list is going to be the pay-to-win champion of the game. It's Sisia, the Shard. Rock on! Some of you might be surprised that she even made the list because I gave a lot of shade onto Sisia, the Shard. Well, I don't even know if she doesn't. Every time I have to remind myself that she's a Sylvan Watcher. It feels like she just burned forest fires, right? Like Smokey the Bear style. Don't smoke in the woods, Sisia.
I'm not smoking. I'm breathing.
Anyway, sorry, I digress. What was I saying? She got a triple hitter with increased duration of burns on the A1. She got an AoE burn on 4-turn cooldown. This is why I was hating on her, by the way. A 4-turn cooldown for a pay-to-win exclusive, I'm not feeling that at all. But again, she can increase the duration on the A1, and she has an AoE attack, decrease the turn meter of all enemies by a further 15%, so 30% on enemies under burn. That's a 4-turn cooldown. Again, not ideal, but the reason I am including her at number 15 on the list, even over Ignatius and Tila and the champions that we talked about already, is because of the stoked passive. When you put it all together with the A1 extension, the A2 burn, and the passive, whenever the champion is attacked by an enemy under a burn, heals his champion, also has a 30% chance when booked of instantly activating the burn debuffs on the attacker. I do think 15 is a pretty fair spot for her. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree on Sisia, the Shard. I don't like that she's not very tanky either, but she can do some things. She can solo some content. It just requires a lot of very good gear to do so. Coming in number 14 on the list is going to be Tamisha. I've always had a soft spot for Tamisha. She's really cool. I like the skinwalker's, aesthetic, right? Anyway, she's an attack-based champion. She can deal a lot of damage, right? She's got a decreased defense, 100% if they're under a burn before attacking, which is really nice on the fiery battle axe. On the burn ability, man, this is a really good ability. Cunning Chaos, 3-turn cooldown when booked. We're placing that burn for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown a la Tyrant Ixthamor, right? And then we have a stun, 100% stun on targets with 50% turn meter or more. But then we have 100% decreased speed for 3 turns on targets with less than 50% turn meter. I love that it's a 3-turn burn and a 3-turn decreased speed. Oof, that's really good. She's actually an underrated Hydra burner because of the decreased speed and the burn 3-turn cooldown. On Burning Regret, her name, even the name of the ability is Burning. It has it in it, man. It's attack 1 enemy, damage increased by 40% for each HP burn active in the battle, up to 400% extra damage. Also has a 100% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%, decrease the target's turn meter by an additional 15% for each active HP burn debuff in the battle. A lot of people forget about that ability there. That's really cool, right? You can get a 15, 15, 15, call it a 45% turn meter decrease on like the Ice Golem if his minions are under the burn. Obvious synergy in other areas of the game as well. Tamisha is great. She's great. I love her in Spider. Personally, she's on my Spider Hard 10 speed run team as the initial burn placer. Granted, she could be replaced by somebody else there, but I like running Tamisha. Coming in at number 13 on our list, I just did a video on this guy. He's another oldie, a goodies, and a freebie as well. He's farmable vis-a-vis Tag Team Arena Bazaar. I'm sorry that it's tag team, guys. This is my one time a week that I'm contractually obligated, to say something about Tag Team Arena. Man, I wish they would fix Tag Team Arena, right? It could be really cool. Something about like Tag Team Arena would be cool for me if it was more gauntlet style. Like somebody dies, they get replaced, you know, like you tag them in, tag them out. Not just 3 arena teams independently stacked up on each other, right? It'd be like tag team, like WrestleMania. You gotta tag in your tag team partner, right? Tag them in, tag them out. No? Anyway, Dexter Blood Twin, he's great. He's great. He's got the provoke. He's got the HP burn on the A1 with a heal if the target's under a burn. And of course, his claim to fame is Fiery Blood. He's got the 75%, I was right, 75% chance of placing an HP burn for 2 turns on the attacker when hit. Also has increased resistance for every burn debuff out there. Just a great burn solo beast. I included probably 6 or 7 areas in that video where Drextar Blood Twin can solo. Very, very nice defense base too. Pretty easy to keep him alive. Coming in at number 12 on the list is going to be a guy that I don't have because I ain't got no friends. It's Cron. Oh man, Cron you can only get for the friend referral program inside the game, and yeah, I don't have him. I don't have him. I rank him number 12. He's the only champion. Actually, he's not the only champion on the list I don't have. There's another one, a top 5 champion on the list that I don't have either. Cron, I think this is where he belongs. He does have the AoE burn on a 3-turn cooldown, right? Fills his champion's turn meter by 15% for each HP burn placed by this skill. Handy with more mobs like Spider. You can just basically get a full turn meter as well. You can come back in here with Berserker's Delight and instantly activate the HP burns. Most of the champions from here on out will have some sort of instant activation of the burns because we're raising the roof here. We're raising that threshold now that we're inching into the top 10 on the list. Coming in at number 11 on the list is another barbarian. It's our first mythical, but not the last on the list. It's Alaz the Sun Bearer. Now, Alaz, a lot of people are acquainted and familiar with his base form, ability. He's got the very hard hitting Rolling Thunder. He's defense base. He's got the block damage and the provoke ability, but it's actually his HP form where he has the HP burn as well. An AoE attack on his A1, an extra hit on enemies under HP burn. It's actually a decently hard-hitting, for an A1 ability, it's a decently hard-hitting attack, so you can get an AoE ×2 hit on an A1 ability, provided that they're under burn. Really nice. He has Solar Flare as an AoE attack, plays a burn for 2 turns, it cannot be resisted by any enemies under Stone Skin, then instantly activates the burns on enemies under a Stone Skin, then places a True Fear for 1 turn. It's on a 3-turn cooldown. It's a really, really nasty ability. Obviously, it'd be used more in the arena, if not for polymorph. It's not used, he's used a lot in the arena, but most people keep him on his base form. If they ever do anything with polymorph, you could see a lot of the use case shifting to his alternate form here. The reason he's not a little bit higher on the list, because it's a really good ability, is because it's not an instant activation in PvE content as well. Either way, an incredible champion. Coming in at number 11. Number 10 on the list. Number 10, halfway point here is going to be an orc, and his name is Supreme Galek. I think people sleep on Supreme Galek. His claim to fame is Hydra. He's definitely the best in Hydra on his A1. Each hit has a 60% chance win booked of increasing the duration of burns on the target by 1 turn. That's handy. On the A2 ability, 4 time at random, increase attack before he attacks. And then each hit has a 10% chance of inflicting a critical hit, extra 10%, Each hit also has a 100% chance of instantly activating HP burn debuffs on each target and decreasing the duration of those HP burn debuffs by 1 turn. Fills his champion's turn meter by 30% if 3 or more HP burn debuffs are activated during the attack, which again makes him perfect for Hydra Clan Boss. This is all on 3-turn cooldown. On his Unreasoning Outburst, his A3 ability, another 3-turn cooldown, another AoE attack, another extra 10% chance for a critical hit, and then 100% chance of a burn, a block buffs, and a decreased speed on targets whose turn meter is higher than 50%. Really nice ability here with the block buffs to HP burn, the decreased speed. He comes back in with the Bloodshed Tempest with the instant activation. Very, very good burner here at number 10, excuse me. At number 9 on the list, guys, is going to be everybody's least favorite mythical in the game. It's crazy that I even have him on the list, but I got to give credit where credit is due, man. Apodus, the Hive Lord, is not the best mythical in the game. He's far from it. He's in the lower half of mythicals, but we're just talking about burners. He's got you covered. He really does. On his base form here, he's got basically AoE attacks that increase attack, increase duration of enemy debuffs. He's got instant activation on the burn on the A3. If they're not under burn, he's placing the burn, which is nice, on a 3-turn cooldown. Each time this champion places an HP burn debuff, decreases target's defense by 3% up to 30%. For each HP burn debuff on the enemy team, increases his crit damage up to 100%. And whenever an enemy HP burn debuff activates, increases champion's attack up to 50%, resets each round. It's a really nice HP burn synergy ability here, considering he is placing the burns, he's activating the burns after he places them, and then he's ramping up his damage again through said burns. He's got stuns, he's got provokes on his base form, on his alternate form, excuse me. No burn synergy on the Hive, but I just got to look at the bug. Again, not the best mythical in the game, but definitely has a nice burn kit on that passive and on the A3 or A2 ability, A3 ability, either way. Coming in at number 8 on the list, guys, is going to be my favorite irresistible burner in the game. It's Walking Tomb Drang. Walking Tomb Drang is like Ignatius, only better, right? Not only does he have instant activation of HP burns on his A1 ability that does not require accuracy. I always say this on him because I remember when I first pulled him, didn't fuse him, but I did pull him shortly thereafter. And I knew his burn couldn't be resisted, didn't require accuracy. As an AoE burn that doesn't require accuracy for it, can't be resisted, right? But for me, it wasn't super intuitive back in the day that this also, instant activation, did not require any accuracy. So it's really nice to not have to build him with any accuracy at all. He also has one of the better heals in the game on his A3 on Death's Balance. And then he has some reflect damage as well. He has HP in all battles by 30%. I think that Walking Tomb Drang is criminally underrated in the game. I just don't hear many people talk about him ever, and I honestly don't know why. Sisia Flametongue coming in at number 7 on the list. Sisia Flametongue, ooh, I love her. Look at, she just screams. Everything about her visual aesthetic screams HP burn. You gonna die.
Here's some matches. Set yourself on fire.
Sisia Flametongue, I like her. She's got a triple hitter with increase the duration of burns on the A1. She is, I want to make sure I get this in the right order. So on her A3, Firestorm right, she's placing a burn for 3 turns on all enemies. If you place it on all enemies, you get an extra turn. You go right into the flame eruption, and another AoE attack, a weaken, a decreased defense, and an activation. Instantly activates any HP burns on each target, and then decreases the duration of those burns by 1 turn, all on a 3-turn cooldown. So on a back-to-back turn, provided that you can land it on everybody, like Spider, this is what I use. Tamisha comes in there, and then we just go right in with Flame Eruption. That way, just in case that doesn't land on everybody, she doesn't get an extra turn, doesn't screw up my run. But either way, guys, Sisia is the burn and then burn activator. Just gotta be careful with affinities here. Obviously, going against Spirit Affinity, if you don't land all your burns, you're not gonna get extra turn. You won't be able to activate right away. All right, that's Sisia. Coming in at number 6 on the list, guys, is gonna be a guy that we don't talk about. We don't talk about him that much anymore here on the channel. It's Ninja. Oh, it's got to be years ago that Ninja was added to the game now, huh? Man, I asked somebody at Plarium too, one of their retired marketing employees who was working on that campaign back in the day. I was like, was that a success anyway? Because when you think of Raid Shadow Legends, you don't think of Tyler Blevins Ninja, really. No offense to anybody involved, but they said it was a massive success in terms of the money they spent with Ninja to bring him into the game. So pretty cool. Anyway, he has a decreased DP. He was a free champion back in the day based on Ninja, like the Fortnite Ninja, you know. He's got a decreased defense on his A1. He's got the burn and the burn activation. When used against bosses, he's activating his burns. Just to have this all on 1 turn against a boss where he's placing the burns, and then he's activating the burns, and then with the A3, he's going to AoE freeze, but when attacking a boss, will only attack the boss, not all enemies, ignore 50% of the target's defense, will also decrease the cooldown of the Hail Burn skill by 1 turn. So you never want to shut off the Scion Slash against a boss, because we can decrease the cooldown of Hail Burn, aka more burns and more burn activation. He is the burn boss killer of Raid Shadow Legends. Coming in at number 5 on the list, guys. Number 5 on the list, we have a new guy, a new champion in the game. It's Viig the Noxious. Now, I had a tough time with Ninja, because Ninja is a single target burner, so good against bosses, but it's hard to like compare him to an AoE burner like some of the top 5 here that we get to. Either way, let me know where you put Ninja on your list. Viig the Noxious, man, he's HP based, a legendary lord of the Ogren tribe. This guy, I wanted him so bad, I couldn't get my hands on him. He's getting AoE on his A1 with instant activation of burns. On his A2, he's placing 2 poisons and an HP burn debuff for 2 turns. On his A3, attacks all enemies before attacking, places an increased accuracy, increases the duration of all enemy debuffs, decrease the duration of all ally debuffs. With 1 ally on the team, increase speed. With 2 allies on the team, increase the duration of all enemy debuffs by 2 turns, and reduce the ally duration of debuffs by 2 turns. Then he's healing everybody based on his max HP on 3. On his passive, Bone Grinder Brand, increase each ally's accuracy by 10 for each HP burn and poison debuff on the entire enemy team. HP burn and poison debuffs placed by allies deal 30% more damage with 1 faction ally on the team. That's nasty. Increased damage dealt by allies by 5% for each HP burn and poison debuff on a target. And then HP burn and poison debuffs placed by allies cannot be removed, stolen, or transferred. They're protected. Oof. Listen, even without the Lord bonuses, you know, all these burn synergies on the bonuses, he's still on the list. You add a little bit of this too. I mean, especially that 1 faction ally. Ooh, he was a tough champion to place because some of it is dependent on Ogre and Tribe. But man, I think even without that, with the instant activation on the A1, he's a really compelling and cool burn champion. What about you guys? Where would you have ranked him? Coming in at number 4 on the list is going to be an epic. That's right. It's Geomancer. Geomancer's number 4 on our list, guys. I've seen Geomancer maybe dip down just a hair. Is that sacrilegious to say? After the bosses got maybe a little bit easier on the Iron Twins, which is one of his biggest use cases in the game. That all being said, he's still top 5. He's top 4 on the list. Geomancer is just, for a single target burner, for an epic no less, to be this high on the list, it says something. He's still got one of the best burn synergies, if not the best in the game, right? This Quicksand Grasp fully depletes the target turn meter, fills this champion's turn meter by the amount the target loses, places a burn and a weaken for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, and then he just starts reflecting or deflecting the damage on enemies under HP burn placed by this champion. Whenever the champion is attacked, deflects 30% of the damage instead. Man, it's insane. It's a 30% chance of dealing additional damage, 3% of the target's max HP. You guys know Geomancer, you know burn. There's a reason that Geo's still the best or top 3 epic in the game. Passive synergizing with his Quicksand Grasp. Number 3 on the list is gonna be, might be my favorite burner in the game. I don't know. He's nasty, and he was free.
You know, you are definitely in a strange mood tonight.
It's Artak. Man, Artak is unbelievable. Some of you might not have him this high on your list. I'll tell you why I do, but really quickly. An AoE, extend the duration of any HP burns on each target by 1 turn, 45%. So let's just start here for a second. We talked about, gosh, 5 or 6 champions maybe on this list, at least 3, that have a very modest HP burn extension on their A1 ability. He's got it on an AoE, and it's not a 15%, it's not a 20%, it's a 45%. Really solid on the A1. On Dog of War, before attacking on a 3-turn cooldown, he's instantly activating any HP burn debuffs on each enemy. Also a decrease attack buff, a debuff while we're at it. on his Purifier. Again, a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies not once but twice. First hit, 100% chance when booked. Placing an HP burn debuff on all enemies. Restores his destroyed HP for any HP burn debuff placed by this skill. Heals his champion by 5% of their max HP for each HP burn debuff attempt blocked or resisted by the enemy team. And then on the Burning Blood, whenever an HP burn debuff is activated, destroys his champion's max HP by 5% up to 50%. So that's the bad news. The good news is increases champions' damage, crit damage, and defense by 1% for each 1% of their destroyed max HP. Also increases this champion's speed and resistance by 2 for each 1% of their destroyed max HP. So he ramps up and does better, gets faster, does more damage as the battle goes on. And no fear, we can restore some of this vis-a-vis the A3 ability as well. He's got burn on 3-turn cooldown. He's got heal. He's got sustainability. He's got damage. He's got speed increase. He's got burn activation. He's got damage mitigation. He's got extension. What more do you want from a burner? That's number 3. Who can beat that? Who can beat that? Well, I'll tell you who can beat that. Sueran coming in at number 2. He's fast. He's kind of tanky. Decent defense. HP, okay. He's got HP in all battles by 33%. He looks like a freaking burner. I'll say that.
That is exactly what I am.
On his A1, fills the turn meter of all allies except this champion by 10% when attacked by a target under HP burn. Heck yeah. On the A2, places an HP burn on all enemies for not 1, not 2, but 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, and instantly activates any HP burn debuffs on all enemies. Then he's placing a shield on all allies equal to the damage inflicted by the HP burns with a max of 25,000 HP. So he's placing burns for 3 turns, instantly activating and putting a shield on everybody. And then, by the way, he's a reviver with an extra turn. So he's a burner, a burn activator, and a reviver on an AoE with the extra turn. Fills a turn meter of each of all allies by 5% for each HP burn debuff placed. Whenever an HP burn debuff is activated, heals all allies by 5% of their max HP. Whenever it's under the tainted tainted spiderlings, heals all allies by 1% of their HP. Whenever a burn is removed by an enemy, places a decreased resistance on that enemy for 1 turn. Whenever an ally is killed by an enemy under a burn, fills his champion's turn meter by 20% so he can revive him. Increases champion's speed by 7 for each active HP burn debuff. What does this dude not do? I mean, good God. Man, I'll be real with you guys. I forgot some of this stuff before I hit record on this video. I was like, I knew he had like a lot of burn synergy on his passive. I don't have him, by the way.
I think I've heard this story before.
But I forgot that he had the turn meter. I'll be honest with you guys. I forgot this. I forgot the turn meter. I just remembered the speed and the heal. Turn meter fill. Man, he's doing a lot. Holy moly. Who could beat him? Who could beat him? Who could be our number 1 burner of the video? Well, say it with me. Without further ado, anybody know? Anybody know? It is Mordecai. No, I'm just joking. But a shout out to Mordecai. He almost made the list. He was right after Scank. All right, number 1 is going to be Gizmac. Gizmac the Terrible. Did I get any of you guys with that? Mordecai. I love Mordecai. No hate. Gizmac the Terrible, man. This guy is the definition of a burner. He is the burner of all burners, the creme de la creme of the burner in Raid Shadow Legends. 115 speed, he's a mythical, tanky, of course. He's got Magma Hurl. Now, listen, it's easy to shut off the video, especially if you don't have Gizmac the Terrible right now, but just bear with me for 2 minutes. We'll go over his kit. And there's so much there in Gizmac the Terrible, all revolving around burns or mostly revolving around burns, that it's tough to even grasp or to really just capture what he does on the first sitting, on the first reading. Magma Hurl attacks 1 enemy, increases the duration of any HP burn debuffs on the target by 1 turn. And the target's not under a burn, decrease the duration of 2 random buffs on the enemy by 1 turn instead. These effects cannot be resisted if the attack is critical. Then attacks all enemies not under HP burn debuffs except the initial target. Decrease the duration of 2 random buffs on all enemies by 1 turn. This effect cannot be resisted if the attack is critical. On the A2, Flames of Resentment on a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies before attacking. Increase increase the duration of all HP burn debuffs on all enemies by 1 turn, then instantly activates any HP burn debuffs on each enemy. This cannot be resisted if the champion's crit rate is 100% or higher. Finally, increases the duration of all debuffs on the enemies by 1 turn, plays a decreased speed on all enemies for 2 turns. They cannot be resisted if the attack is critical. So burn activation can't be resisted. Increase the duration of all debuffs by 1 turn can't be resisted. Decrease speed can't be resisted. All on a 3-turn cooldown. Let me at him. This is A3. Increase crit damage, increase crit rate, increase speed on all allies. 3 turns on a 4-turn cooldown with an extra turn. Oh, it's how you start every ability. So you might be asking yourself at this point, where's the burn placement? He's activating there. Where is he placing? How is he placing the burns, Ash? Spark of Anger, okay? Before the start of this champion's turn, places a burn on all enemies for 2 turns, once per round, can't be resisted, okay? But in the second paragraph, also, before the start of this champion's turn, has a 50% chance of placing a burn for 1 turn, can't be resisted. So at the beginning of the round, 100% burn for 2 turns, can't be resisted. Every other turn, 50% burn for 1 turn, can't be resisted. All right, next form. Let's just start with Kaboom. Attacks all enemies before attacking. A decreased defense on all enemies, can't be resisted on targets under the burn. Plays an extra hit on targets under burn. Grants an extra turn if it kills an enemy. Go to the A3. I'm going to skip the A1 for a minute. On the A3, Ungodly Fury. Plays a pain link debuff on the target enemy for 2 turns. Can't be resisted, blocked, whatever. When calculating the damage inflicted by the pain link debuff, 75% of the attacker's skill multiplier is reflected. The damage inflicted by the pain link debuff will ignore 100% of the target's defense. Also places a taunt and an unkillable buff on this champion for 2 turns. Finally, ally protection on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Jeez. Will ignore 50% of the target's defense if this champion's HP or the target's HP is equal to or greater than 50%. If this champion's HP or the target's HP is less than 50% HP, will ignore 25% of the target's defense. Will also ignore block damage shields when attacking enemies under HP burn. Inflicts 20% more damage to enemies not under HP burn, which is actually great because burning Juggernaut, sure, great abilities with the burn here, ignoring block damage and shield, but hey, it even rewards you if they get cleansed in the meantime. So listen, you put all that together, what can you do with Gizmac? Why is everybody talking about Gizmac as one of the top champions of the game? I'll tell you, why is he being used in top 10, top live arena, top everywhere, even with polymorph? Because this is how it goes. This is the cadence of a Gizmac, right? You start the round, burn on everybody, can't be resisted. If he doesn't get polymorphed, you go into the let me at him. Increase crit damage, increase crit rate, increase speed on everybody, then the extra turn, okay? So you already have a 2-turn burn, can't be resisted. You have all these buffs, and then you switch forms, right? If you wanted to, you could instantly activate in PvE or whatever, right? But you switch forms, you go kaboom, now everybody has decreased defense for 2 turns, right? Extra hit under the burn, grants an extra turn if you kill an enemy, it has great multipliers. He smacks. You're definitely gonna be killing somebody with this ability. Grant another extra turn, you go into Ungodly Fury. That's going to put the taunt, the unkillable, the pain link, the ally protection on everybody. So in 1 turn, you've burned everybody, you've buffed everybody with increased speed, increased crit damage, increased crit rate. You switched forms, you've landed a decreased defense on everybody. By the way, nothing can be resisted. You've done a ton of damage, you've killed somebody, you placed a pain link, you placed a taunt on them, you placed an unkillable, which synergizes beautifully with the ally protect all in 1 turn. That's insane, man. He's the best burner in the game for my money. What about you guys? My money, literally, he's a mythical. Guys, we're going to end it there. Sorry for going so long on Gizmac, but I really wanted to... When I pulled him, it's weird. A lot of these mythicals are like that, right? They do so much that you're like, okay, how practically am I going to be using them? Like, what's the flow here? And there's a lot, man. He's doing so much, essentially in 1 turn. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Thank you for watching all the way till the end. Let me know who I snubbed on the list, who I ranked too high, too low. Let me have it in the comments below. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.